Yeah, we found out about the short week yesterday afternoon, so we brought the guys in for a quick meeting last night, practice this morning. We'll have meetings again tonight. Try to sandwich it in as well as we can with travel. I think all of us in the building are kind of used to taking things on the fly right now because everything's just been up in the air all year. We're not worried about after this week, really. We'll have time to figure all those things out after this game. We just got to get ready for this one.
Parker Gabriel, Journal-Star.
Hey, Scott, when you went back and watched the film from Saturday, what was it in the passing game that I know it's normally more than one thing, but that didn't work, and how do you find more efficiency in that element of the offense?
It was a little thing here and there again, and that keeps plaguing our offense. I said it after the game. I really felt like we were kind of turning a corner because practice has been really sharp for the last 3 weeks, and last week was really sharp. It's just a little thing here and there. We started the game off so bad by not hitting a simple play. That killed the drive. Had a tipped interception that killed another drive, a bad punt. We didn't protect well enough, and we missed some open guys. We had some guys running open. I think the receivers are doing a lot better job this year of getting to spots and getting there fast and being where they're supposed to be. We got to protect a little better, and we got to make sure we don't miss them.
Do you worry at all about confidence? Adrian had sort of stacked a couple of good weeks on, and then when the efficiency drops, I mean, he's been around the block, he's played a lot. Do you have to talk to him about that, or do you like where he's at, mentally at this point in the season?
Did you say confidence? Yeah. I think that's a little bit with our whole offense, if I'm being honest. The guys need to trust it, believe it, and go make it happen. When you have success, that leads to confidence. Then confidence leads to more success, and that wheel needs to spin a little faster for us right now. Adrian had stacked 2 really good weeks together. He made some really good throws, especially when we gave him time to make those throws. Just some of the downfield things that we schemed up that were there and we didn't hit. A couple times there was a guy standing in his lap and he couldn't follow through. So it's just the continued improvement of consistency and execution.
Ryan Christopherson.
Scott, you've got not only a short week, but early signing day in 48 hours. What's this been like, just this matching those two things, competing on the field and trying to finish off the class, right? Has it been a sprint, or has it felt like you've had a pretty good hold on it?
We're busy. We've been busy since March or April, really. Guys been at this a long time, but we did a good job of getting the majority of the people we want to get signed committed, and feel great about the group that we think we're going to sign on Wednesday with all the other pieces we've added and the overall improvement of talent. This group has a chance to make us even better and make us special. So we'll focus a lot of time this week on 2 different things.
How much do you leave space open maybe in the class, knowing that there's a lot of transfers going on this year across the country and all that? Is that something you think about with the numbers game?
Definitely. We factor that in. And we're starting to get the feeling inside the locker room and on the field and within the team that we want, without dissenters and without guys not being 100% bought in and all in. And so you got to be careful about who you bring in and add to that as it's getting close to where we want it to be. But there, that I don't know. Somebody told me that over 10 days last week there'd been 120 or something guys go into the portal. Well, there's not going to be spots for all those guys, so we'll probably, like we always do, keep a couple spots in our back pocket, and if we find the right guy, we might think about it. Otherwise, there's walk-ons on this team that deserve to be on scholarship as well.
Thank you.
Karen, Jake Bartecki.
Hey, Coach, like last week, you've said a lot in the past that you guys have had solid weeks of practice or your best week of practice. And I'm curious if you know of like a reason for the disconnect between a really solid, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday practice and the result on Saturday game day.
No, the improvement of practice this year led to better play. That we played better, executed better at Iowa, played better, executed better at Purdue. Maybe, Jake, the way we started the game, when we're not a team confident enough yet, when we start the game, the way we started it, sometimes guys can maybe just look around and wait for somebody else to fix it or think, here we go again, mistakes. That being said, after our first quarter, we ended the first quarter second. We turned it on and scored on 2 straight drives and executed well. It's just one little thing here and one little thing there, and it's got to be more consistent. A lot of it Saturday was some of the young players. I called a lot of those guys last night. For young guys in the Big Ten, I think some of those guys are doing an exceptional job, but it's just not consistent enough yet, and that's what killed us Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Sam McEwen?
Hey, Scott. Why do you guys feel like you've had problems on offense in the second half compared to the first half? So the first halves have been better from a scoring perspective and from a yardage perspective than the second halves. Why?
I don't know the answer to that really, Sam. We're diving into that too. I don't remember that being an issue until this year. We've done actually pretty well on first drives the second half, and then things sputter. So, I don't think it's a conditioning thing. I think our guys are in shape. I don't think it's a strength thing. Our focus has gotten better. I went back and watched the Northwestern game. We just made mistakes in the second half. Had the ball on their 3 and didn't execute right and threw an interception on 2 different drives down there. And I think it's kind of just a little more of the same, just being able to focus, concentrate, do your job, and execute for 4 quarters.
Sometimes the thing we'll hear a lot from fans as well, halftime is about coaching adjustments and second halves are about that. Do you agree with that, or is there something else that goes into second halves of games that maybe we overlook or fans or whomever?
There's something to that, absolutely. A lot of times some of the adjustments that we'd make at halftime we probably already made in the first half if we're getting something different in the game than what we expected. Those things happen between series too. Like I said, I think we've done pretty well on first drives coming out of the break with some of the adjustments we've made. All that being said, what a team's doing is usually what they do the whole game. Some of it is probably adjustments, but I think a lot of it's just, like I said, consistency and making sure we can play 60 minutes of guys getting their jobs done.
Thank you.
Steve Sipple?
Hey, Scott, as far as what's holding back the offense goes, it seems like you're patient. How much is your patience being tested right now?
Oh, it's being tested. Nobody's more anxious than me. The kids are too. The kids want to get this done. We lost one game this year, and I had several young kids come into my office after the game when I was in there watching it and make sure I was okay. We got a lot of guys that are dying to get this thing right. The coaching staff is. I am. I talked about progress after the game. That's obvious to us in the building, but that doesn't matter because it's got to turn into wins, and everybody's anxious for that to happen. I think we've caught up on strength conditioning, and we're not getting pushed around like we did year one. I think the defense has played well enough in almost every game this year for us to win. The attitudes are better. The kids caring about one another is better. The overall talent's better. Just a lot of it's young. So we see the progress, but I can talk about that all I want until me and the coaching staff and the kids get it turned. The progress matters, but the results have to come.
Sort of a nuts and bolts question about the quarterbacks. Are you still kind of splitting reps with Adrian and Luke, or is it swung more towards Adrian now?
It's been split reps. Last week, Adrian missed a practice with his shoulder, So Luke got a lot that day, and we made up for that a little the following day with Adrian.
Okay, thank you.
Mitch Sherman, Athletic.
Scott, I know you'll get more into this on Wednesday, but something for the lead up to the signing period opening. Can you touch on the significance this year when you weren't able to travel or bring kids to campus, the importance of having good players to recruit who knew your program that lived within a relatively short distance of Lincoln in this 21 class?
Yeah, I think that's been important. This class is potentially going to be a lot more regional than some other classes that we've had. We're farther away from a lot of talent than a lot of schools. I think our average kid probably comes from about as far away as anywhere in the country. We're lucky that there's been some really good talent last couple years in Nebraska and locally and in the region. And those kids need to be the heart and soul of what we're building here.
Kevin Suits.
Hey, Scott, what's it going to be like coaching against Noah Vedral? And do you have to maybe change some calls the way you send a play in just because he's so familiar with you and your offense?
Yeah, we've discussed that a lot. We're gonna try to make sure that we defend against anything like that as much as we can. I care a lot about Noah, and he did a lot for us and put a lot of effort into working for us, and I want what's best for him. But we'll try to protect ourselves on Saturday or Friday.
Have you followed his season at all this season, Scott, from afar? And what have you seen out of him as a first-year quarterback there at Rutgers?
Yeah, I've been able to watch a little because we've had common opponents, and I've gotten to watch a couple games. And looks like the player that we thought he was when we recruited him, and knew he was when he's here.
Parker Gabriel.
Scott, I know you haven't had production-wise the year that you want offensively, but to your eye, what level has Brendan Hymas played at this year, just over the course of the season?
Yeah, Jaime's been really solid for us. He's a good player. I think he has a good future in football, and he's been an important piece.
Andy Kendi, KTV.
Hey, Scott, you mentioned that Adrian missed some time last week because he was rehabbing. How much of that do you think carried over in some of the throws he missed Saturday?
I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for us or me or him or anybody else. When things are there, we gotta do a good job as a coaching staff and quarterback and the entire team. He did come back later last week and threw it great all week. I mean, we were hitting everything in practice, and just 3 or 4 throws that would have made a big difference if we'd hit them, and we didn't. And that can happen in any game, and we got to make sure that there's not a D lineman in his lap when he's trying to make those throws and some of those things too. But I got a lot of confidence in those guys, and we'll keep working with them because we need to be able to hit those things.
2 or 3 more quick ones. Sam McEwen.
I have a couple. The first is brief. Why hasn't McCaffrey played more in some other position? You've long said he's one of your best athletes. Why hasn't he played somewhere else to help you guys out in the last couple games?
Because he had to take a lot of reps at quarterback, Sam. Our plan was to play him more in the Purdue game, and Adrian got hot. And then in that last game, our plan was to play him more. He'll play some there this week too.
So was it just an issue of you want to play him more at quarterback and circumstances just haven't dictated as much? Is that kind of the long and short of it?
Yeah, that's part of it. And, every rep we give him at running back or somewhere else, we're taking away from other guys that are trying to get ready at that position too. So, in certain games there's been packages for him where we're going to run certain plays with him. And that just gets a little heavy when you have, a lot of packages with Wandale at running back or Wandale at receiver and Luke here and Luke there. And that slows down our rhythm a little bit too. We're going to be a better team when we can largely keep the same guys on the field and just call everything that we have.
One other one is, which is more frustrating for you right now, receiver or running back, in terms of getting guys healthy, keeping guys engaged in practice, and getting them up to speed with the plan? Because it seems like you're having to roll a lot of guys at both positions, especially running back.
Yeah, it's been getting them up to speed. That's been, if I've been frustrated with anything, and I've talked about that some, but a lot of the receivers that are starting to make us a better team just missed time, and it wasn't their fault. To me, if you look at this season, the teams that are exceeding expectations are the veteran teams that, and that makes sense. I mean, teams didn't have spring ball, they didn't have fall camp, they weren't around coaches all summer. A lot of our receivers and running backs have been on the sideline for health issues and other things, and just their development has been slower than I want it to be. We got the talent in the program right now that I think can win and win a lot in this league. We got to get them refined, and I agree with you. Just kind of the musical chairs of who's playing this week and who's playing this week, and not being able to stack reps on reps with the same key guys has kind of slowed down our progress a little bit.
Thank you.
Evan Bland, World-Herald.
Hey, Scott, I just wanted to ask about kind of the grind. You guys are finishing up in the Big Ten. I know a lot of the players said today how they've kind of tried to maintain physically through this thing. What do you think the effects have been, mentally or physically, as these games have stacked up? And how do you guys as coaches at this point in the season kind of guard against, that becoming a bad thing?
You can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Usually that happens in, week 8 or 9 of a season. We're close to the end now, so the kids just need to have a final push and kick here. It's been a long year in a lot of ways for everybody, not just here. A lot of uncertainty. That I'm sure this is the case everywhere. The kids that I see really kind of struggling to keep the same health and vitality are the young guys, and you usually have freshmen hit a wall at some point. But those guys went out to practice today and gave us everything they got, and we'll do everything we can to get them fresh and ready to go for this last one.
Last one for Coach Steve Sipple.
Hey, Coach, I don't think anybody's asked you about what your initial impressions of Rutgers' defense is. They look active up front, particularly. What do you see?
Really active, do a lot of things, tackle well, play really hard. They're well coached. They're really veteran too, Sip. You look at the number of upperclassmen and seniors that are playing for them, and they've been together and around each other a lot. But I think this coaching staff's come in and made them better. And as you watch their season, they've gotten better and better each week. So definitely going to be a big challenge for our offense, especially coming off a game where we didn't play up to our standards.
And one quick one. I know Logan Smothers is in the background at this point in his career, but what do you see from him so far that's particularly encouraging?
Logan's a good player. He has a little bit of work to do still, but what I really like about him is his ability to see the field and make decisions. He makes really quick, decisive decisions, gets the ball out of his hand, and is a really good athlete. So really one of the key things for quarterbacks in this system, that if they're going to excel, is being able to kind of think fast and be one step ahead of the game, and I definitely see that trait from him.